Again we find ourselves meeting. I am glad to see you are entertained by my stories. This time, we wander to another continent, the Scars. I spent much of my time uncovering the secrets of this world, and you should keep that in mind as I speak. The history of the Scars is a falsehood, one carefully constructed so its people might sleep at night. Very little of it comes from truth. Their real mysteries lie buried beneath ever-shifting sands, locked away where even gods fear to tread. I could tell you the lies they tell themselves. But if you know me as well as I hope you do, you know I would never be so direct. Instead, I will tell you the story of the three brothers and a beast. We shall go over the boatman who keeps his sands as company. We shall criticize the king who was burned by his cowardice. We shall begin with the beast. Long ago there lived a beast. She was neither cruel nor kind. She was simply nature. She devoured when she could, for in her youth, food was scarce. As she grew older, she became a prolific hunter, and the world named her the Mother of Hunting. A true beast, feared because she had earned it. At that time, the Scars were not yet called such. They had no name at all. They were simply the desert, vast, unending, and indifferent. The beast hunted there, but she was not alone. There were also 3 brothers, born to a family long since swallowed by the sands. Their parents' corpses still lie somewhere beneath the desert, wrapped in coarse grains and forgotten memories, feeding the disappearing river. The eldest was a man of substance. When their parents died, he became leader and protector, guiding his brothers and himself through the desert with steady resolve. In time, he built a kingdom so they might have a home. Thus, he became a king. That kingdom is the only thing that remains of him. The Tabaxi claim descent from the eldest brother. Through repetition, they have made this illusion real. The eldest grew weary of guardianship. A day he invoked me, and he wandered. The desert wind wrapped around him and guided his steps. The first king of the desert went on hiatus for 1 year. One day, the eldest crossed the path of the beast. He fought with honor. He fought with love in his heart. But he was not strong enough. When he fell, he did so longing, not for victory, but for the sight of his family. His body informed the kingdom that the hiatus was permanent. The youngest died next. Untethered by responsibility, he lived as mischief made flesh, growing from petty trouble into outright crime. When his brother died, he swore vengeance, then followed the phantom of his family across the desert. Grief wore his face during that time. In cities, he had been a stalker. In the desert, he was meat. The beast revealed herself as her claws tore into him. He fought without honor. He fought with the ferocity of a parent protecting a child. Just like his brother, he fought with love. Whereas his brother fought to survive with love, he fought to avenge love executed. When he fell, it was close enough to see his brother's corpse, but too far to touch it. Even with his throat having been torn out, he spoke. The words were nonsense to all who heard them, even the beast. But the act of speaking mattered. For the first time, the mother of hunting wondered what these creatures meant to one another. The last brother was the middle. He was the strongest. So strong that neither of his brothers could touch him in combat. He was a hunter by trade, and unlike the other, he did not seek the beast. He waited. When she came, he spoke. "I cannot hate you," he said, "for you only did what you are. But I must fight you, for them and for myself." They did not begin with violence. There was understanding first, the kind only shared by those of the same profession. They fought for 3 years, 3 months, and 3 weeks. They rested, they healed, they fought again. Over time, they spoke, and against all reason, they fell in love. Torn between honor and affection, the hunter made a choice. He dropped his weapon. He let her tear his heart from his chest. "It was yours in the end," he told her, as he died in her arms. No imagining of this moment could discern its true wretchedness. The mother of hunting wept. For 3 days, 3 hours, and 3 minutes, she shed tears. Tears that formed a lake. Only 3 shapes remained uncovered. 3 scars in the sand. Then she turned to me. "Strange wanderer," she asked, "have you found a way to bring back the dead?" I told her no. It was not the truth. Bringing back the dead is simple. Letting them remain ignorant is kinder. At least to say it is kinder is as close to the truth as I am willing to come. I left her a gift instead, one she could never have possessed otherwise. From her grief came children, the tabaxi. They call it a blessing. They call it a lineage. It is a curse, if only in name. It was born from love, a love that taught a beast empathy. Each child born that year carried it, a mother's love they would never know, for she still mourns the loss of their father. When I left her, it cost me 3 seconds. To her, it cost everything. If these words have not swayed you, perhaps you are kin to the boatman. I met it upon the shifting sands of the eldest brother's domain. To call it a man would be dishonest, a beguilement of the truth. It was neither human nor mortal. It was a boatman, nothing more. It sailed a river that vanished behind it, cutting through sands as though they were water. I boarded its vessel uninvited. "Ahoy, Captain," I said. "Where do you sail upon those sands of forgotten memory?" "I sail so the sands are not alone," he replied. "Why do you intrude, trickster?" He was cruel, but not hateful. I spoke in his tongue, though we spoke without tongues. I offered him a dream, the dream of a forgotten king. He fed it to his stream, and in exchange he gave me what even gods desire, the ability to dream. In doing so, the first rule of gods was broken, and I gained dominion over both the real and the imagined. There is a saying, if a god dreams, it is a saying to make something akin to impossibility. It exists because it was once impossible. Our final story concerns ambition. There is an island shaped like a flame at the edge of the scars. Its history was constructed by one being alone, an ice elemental named Force. A king sought this island. A stranger warned him away, and then offered him a way forward. Meddling fruit. Meddlars from the Fae. I told him they could bind the elemental for a time. They could, I never lied. For 30 years, they would bind him, as they were told by the Fae King. The Desert King spent 1 decade trying to kill Forced. Through blood and steel, Forced remained, annoyed but patient. Another decade was spent obsessing over how. They called the king mad as his throne became a mountain of books. In the third, he begged. He asked to be spared, but he never sought forgiveness. When the cage fell away, Forced's rage froze the island and burned all who stood upon it. Ice washed over all, leaving burns blacker than charcoal, but colder than death. As his form dissolved into eternal winter, he spoke. Frost never thaws. Forced will. All things shall convict your crimes. Nothing shall convict mine. That island still burns with cold, and that is the truth above the scars. Forced was kind by nature. Until the final decade, he would have spared the king, even if in chains. But cowardice is difficult to forgive. I suppose, in the end, he was free to deny self-reflection, even if he saw it at some point. We are all free to deny the obvious, even if it exists in front of us. Now, ask yourself, which of these stories do they tell their children in the scars? Do they speak of the mother of hunting who birthed them in sorrow? Do they speak of the king who killed all who served him from cowardice? I shall at least give you one definitive answer. They speak of the boatman who carries their dreams, even when they may forget them. I think that is a rather comforting dream to give a child. Next we meet, we shall travel to Arcanus, later called Foyer. I shall tell you of 3 stories of vastly different times. One so far in the past, immemorable does not begin to describe it. One in the middle, close to the death of fantasy as whimsy. And one so far in the recesses of the future that even hope withers to war. Good night, sweet dreams, and until next time.